Any other hazard related to springtime weather.
The Valley Today's JC Dodd. She is out there live in some parts of Valley that are seeing some very dangerous flooded roadways. Good morning, JC.
Thanks, Jordan. I'm just southeast of Argusville. This is 27th Street. You can see it is closed, and that is because of all of this overland flooding that we have here in Cass County and across the Red River Valley. Now, we have seen a lot of water-covered roads, some washed out roads. It is very dangerous, especially on these rural county roads. So you've got to be careful if you're heading out there. One big thing driving around this morning, I've seen a lot of water-filled ditches, and it is very eerie when you're driving down a rural road and you don't know how deep that water is right next to you. You've got to take it slow, be careful, and if you come across water, turn around. You do not want to drown because it is you never know how deep that water is or what the condition of the road is like underneath it. So we have a lot of road closures, a lot of travel advisories. You wanting to make sure you're careful when you're out there driving, especially if you're coming into town from the more rural parts of Cass County. So keep that VNL weather and news app handy. We will keep you informed on river levels and road conditions throughout this week.
JC Dodd reporting live this morning. Thank you.
Now we head over to Lisa Green with a look at your morning forecast. Good morning, Lisa.
Good morning. We are enjoying drier weather here this morning, which is great to see. We do have some cloud cover overhead. This is our view right now in Fargo along I-94. Some clouds, but some dry roads. But as JC mentioned, roads are at least flooded in other areas here. And then, of course, we've got flooded overland fields as well. And so just want you to use that caution today. Otherwise, we'd have green lights for you here for travel because of drier conditions. But with the flooding ongoing, again, extra care will be needed. As we take a look at our forecast, or rather our conditions today, we're looking at some numbers that are yet again on the cold side. Not great to be out in, but great for getting that water through the system in a more slow way. The temperatures below freezing just kind of stall things out a little bit, slow things up, and so no areas are getting, well, I should say we are overloaded with water in a lot of areas, but this prevents it from getting worse, at least at a quicker rate. 25 degrees currently in Fargo. Wind is out of the north at 10 miles per hour. It feels like 15 though, so you may want that heavier coat here to start off the day. 25 on the Moorhead side of the Red River. And here's a look at the red in Grand Forks and East Grand Forks, well out of its banks up to the Sorley Bridge right there. And we'll continue to be dealing with that rising river in Grand Forks. It's near major flood stage right now. 22 degrees your current temperature there. Wind lighter, but still we have wind out of the northwest at 13, and so it feels like 10 degrees right now in that area. Radar and satellite map looking nice and quiet, though there are some places that we are going to be seeing a few flakes here and there, but beyond those flurries, it's looking like a good start to the day, especially when we factor in these winds that are in that 5 to 15 mile per hour range north and south, and we're seeing those winds out of the north. So the overall flow will be for some cooler air, that northerly wind and air to be moving in and keeping temperatures down today. Here's a look at our bus stop planner. Expect temperatures to be in the 20s this morning for most spots, but again, feeling a little colder out at the bus stop when we factor in a light breeze. The sunshine returns this afternoon around 3 o'clock. We'll be in the upper 30s, even some 40s in the Southern Valley by the time we get into the 4 or 5 o'clock hour. So nice sunny break once that sun breaks out by midday here today. Wednesday will also be on the drier side, so 2 days in a row of dry weather. Thursdays, when we're watching for some showers to move in, and then of course our first alert weather days because we're adding maybe a few inches of rain to the system. I'm hoping it'll stay west of us, more into central and western North Dakota, but the potential's certainly there, and it's something we want to warn you about and have you ready for as we make our way toward the weekend.
A lot of stuff to go over this morning and watch out for, especially that rain. Lisa, thank you this morning.
The Valley City's mayor says they scrambled all weekend to protect the town from the Cheyenne River, which rose incredibly fast. The city declared a flood emergency and started building flood walls. Temporary levees also were being built and are expected to be finished today.
If we're in a race with the water, we're ahead of it right now, and hopefully that continues.
East Grand Forks high schoolers traveled to Fisher yesterday to help with sandbagging there. The principal says he heard about the need for sandbaggers and asked for volunteers over the intercom at the start of the day. He said he expected maybe 20 students willing to do the hard work, but many more wound up braving the cold to help.
It's amazing. we could maybe get 20 volunteers, just guessing, and I think we had about 150 show up. So it's been so awesome to see everybody come together to help us out.
In other news, North Dakota's longest-serving state senator will resign following a report that he had traded scores of text messages with a man jailed on child porn charges. Republican Ray Holmberg, who rose to become one of the state's most powerful lawmakers in a career that spanned 46 years, said he would resign effective June 1st.
His term was scheduled to end on November 30th, and he had already announced that this would be his last. Governor Doug Burgum said in a statement he's supports Senator Holmberg's decision to resign. And well-known criminal defense attorney based in Sioux Falls will lead Attorney General Jason Ravensburg's defense team in his impeachment trial. Michael Butler will represent Ravensburg in his Senate trial, which is scheduled for June 21st to June 22nd.
Ravensburg struck and killed Joseph Baver walking along Highway 14 near Highmore in September of 2020. He pleaded no contest to 2 misdemeanor traffic charges, neither of which held him criminally responsible for that death. A Moorhead man accused of stabbing a woman multiple times is now pleading guilty. Juan Pablo Brown is charged with second-degree attempted murder with intent. Last January, police found a woman lying face down with blood on the floor and what appeared to be multiple stab wounds to her back. Court documents say the victim refused to give him money, and that's when he attacked her. Brown is set to be sentenced on June 6. We have new information this morning on the man found dead in a slough in Hawley last week. The Clay County Sheriff's Office says that road conditions appeared to be a factor in that crash. They say the road was wet and had slush from snowfall earlier that day. The speed of the vehicle at the time of the crash is still being investigated.
One Moorhead family has a new home thanks to a special dedication by Habitat for Humanity. The Castillo family struggled for years living in a mobile home that wasn't suited for their family. Single mom Roxanne contributed more than 250 sweat equity hours building her new home and volunteering for Habitat. And she'll repay the cost of the home through an income-based mortgage, all in the name of taking care of her children, one of whom is wheelchair-bound. This is Habitat for Humanity's 67th home in Cass and Clay counties.
A New York judge is holding former President Donald Trump in contempt of court for failing to comply with a subpoena. The Trump Organization is under investigation for allegedly manipulating the value of their assets to get better loans and lower taxes. In our consumer alert this morning, put down the beans. The FDA is issuing a recall because of potential listeria contamination in 1-pound packages of Hippie Organics French beans. Listeria can cause serious and sometimes fatal infections.
The voluntary recall applies one lot with the numbers 313-626 on the back of the packaging. The company says it is taking corrective action to prevent this from happening again. Biofuel scientist says he found a way to make the byproduct of whiskey fuel a car. According to Zero Waste Scotland, making whiskey creates a lot of waste, which gets often dumped into a river or a landfill.
But they are working on fermenting it into a form of biofuel, which could be used as a greener form of fuel or plastic. A few delivery trucks in Scotland already run on it, though right now it's only done in small batches. The Today Show and CBS Mornings are just about to start, but the Valley Today rolls on.
With more live up-to-date minute news and weather coming right up right now on the Fargo CW. Hope you have yourself a great day.